Israeli human rights group B'Tselem has released a damning report on the mistreatment of Palestinians held in Israeli prisons since October the 7th. Now, the report found that systematic abuse in Israeli prisons, as calling them de facto torture camps. Some of the violations include severe physical and sexual violence, humiliation, sleep deprivation and deliberate starvation. The number of Palestinians in Israeli jails has now doubled to 9,623 since the war started last October. At least 60 have died in custody. Mansour Shuman is a former detainee in an Israeli prison, joins us now from Toronto. Good to have you with us, Mr. Shuman, on the programme. What's your first reaction when you hear of people being detained by Israel and then released back to Gaza or the occupied West Bank in a condition that their own families have never seen them in like that before?
First of all, Alhamdulillah, that they were released and they are still alive, because like you said in your report earlier, with regards to the detainees that have been captured from Gaza, a lot of them have come back in body bags to their families and they've come back decomposed. And I've been detained in 2009. At that time, things were a little bit less, I think, when it comes to the severity of the circumstances of the prisoners. At that time, I was taken into administrative custody. I was interrogated in Beit Tikfa and detained in a prison in Asqalan, and also suffered solitary confinement. You have to understand that these people have no rights. We had no rights. I wasn't able to see a lawyer until many months ahead. I wasn't able to see my family. I was told that I have a secret case and a file that is full of information about all the misdeeds that I have done, and that they cannot disclose to me any of it, and that they will continually interrogate us until we let them know everything that they need to know about what is happening. We suffered from sleep deprivation. We would, for example, sleep in a room with lights above us, and they would continually come to our room and ensure that we stay awake, no sleep. The quality of the food is extremely bad, very low in quantity. Sometimes the food is not enough for everyone. There is no access to sunlight. We continuously get searched. Unfortunately, we also sometimes ask to be stripped to become naked in front of the prisoners.
Can I just jump in there, Mr. Shuman? Can I just jump in there? Can I just jump in there and just ask you how many people to a cell and the sanitary conditions as well?
So in Asqalan, during normal times, we would be between 6 to 9, depending on the number of bunk beds. But whenever there is some kind of emergency that happens in the West Bank or Gaza, they would actually punish the people in the cells, and they would actually put 14 to 16 of us in one cell room. So people would have to sleep on the floor, and people would also have to share the less food amongst each other, in addition to sharing one bathroom. Sometimes the bathroom would just be a mere hole in the middle of the cell, where people would be able to do what they need to do. You have to understand that there is no medical treatment. I remember being sent to a doctor once after being in severe pain, and every time the doctor would say there's nothing wrong with you, and then they would take you back. In addition to that, there is very severe psychological mistreatment and psychological damage that happens to us. In addition to continuous coughing, the coughing would stay in your hands, especially during the interrogation. They would cuff your feet, your legs. At one point during the interrogation, they would also scare you by putting other prisoners like you in closets, steel closets, locking them up, and then starting to shake the closets and throw them around. So there's a lot of fear tactics that they also put in place.
So when you were tortured, Mr. Shuman, when you were interrogated, tortured, however you would like to describe it, how many or how long would that last? Are we talking hours? Are we talking days? And then were you then returned to the same prison cell, or were you put somewhere else?
So it would take some hours of torture and interrogation, and sometimes we would be taken back into a solitary cell. Sometimes we'd be taken back into the group cell. Something that I can also add is I had it easy as well because I had an international foreign passport. The other detainees there, they had just Palestinian passports, and they had a much more tough time than what I went through. Again, I strongly ask for, as a result of this Bir Salim report, for other international agencies to come to the prisons inside Israel and check on the Palestinian prisoners as soon as possible, because I'm sure what they're going through under this right-wing government is unbearable.
Obviously very difficult for you to recount for us, but we do appreciate it and gives our international viewers another perspective of what's going on in the region. Manzoor Shuman, thanks for joining us from Toronto. Thank you.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel to get the latest news from Al Jazeera.